Aye,
So
yo,
dommage.
them man stay posting quotes but in real life ain't doing a thing. Them gal look good on IG, in real life don't look the same. My opinion does not need a reply, I'm just here to vent, okay. I told all you man yes, but really I should have been like no. I might not motivate no one, just at least give man hope.
Alright, what's good boys? Welcome back to another weekly video. Today we ended up taking a dub past one eval. We have one more left. We have $1,000 left on the other one. But yeah, let's just do a real quick recap. One of the main things that I learned last week from trading on Friday, taking that kind of like weird break-even trade, was that, again, I need to wait, for the first like 2 or 3 minutes of market open. And then if there's a decent setup, take it. But for like the first minute or two of market open, if you're taking a trade that's like not A++, then it's just cooked. So I kind of took that on Friday. It wasn't A+, it was just a simple eval trade, but it was off open. I just completely forgot about it. That's one of the things that my mentor talked about, and it's been so long since I've traded off market open. So that was one of the things I learned. But today we got a setup around 933, and price is starting to slow down a bit, but it was actually like the drawn liquidity was A+, right? There was nothing stopping us. So let's do a real quick recap, right? So see, we ended up passing the accounts. Let me go to privacy. Let's go see right here, 53K on this account, and then the other one we are up 52K. So yeah, going into the day, I was looking for all-time highs. You can see in the Discord, I called out to everyone at 921, would like to see all-time highs again today. So, marked out all-time highs, right? And we have this 50-minute gap right here. Okay? So for this 50-minute gap, for me to be confident in longs, right? Be confident in a setup higher would be if we displaced through it a lot. And what happened, bro? What happened? All right. If we're, okay, hear me out. I used to want to see a 50-minute, I used to want to see like any gap that I was waiting for a reaction from to be like completely disrespected. If it was a 50-minute gap, I would make myself wait for, that 50-minute candle to be completely done, right? I would wait for the next cycle of that next 50-minute candle. But what I've learned from my mentor, a long time ago, like one of the first main things I've learned, was that if we're displacing through a gap like this, right? And some of y'all need to learn this, bro, because I've thought that forever, for over a year. If we're displacing through a gap like this, we have a clean drawn liquidity, all-time highs. If we're displacing through a gap like this, do you really think after a 30-point bullish candle that we're just going to start to rip lower? Like, especially after us getting pretty much 2 to 3 candles, more like even more bullish, right? Yes, I understand market open. It can run higher like this and then manipulate and then dump lower off that 50-minute gap, and I respect it. But if we're getting multiple bullish candles like this, 35 points away from all-time highs, we're going to run all-time highs. So again, this is not an A+ setup. This is an eval setup, and it's just something I've been learning over time, right? The past pretty much like week. But what did I do? Right, we were rushing through the 50-minute gap, so we have this fair value gap right here. I limit ordered about right here at 23,285. So price ran lower, entered me in because there is a possibility that we would not run into this fair value gap. So what did I do? Right, safe stop loss. Stop loss below this fair value gap, just in case if we retraced. So as you can see, tap me in right here, never retraced, okay? I'm not gonna miss out on this trade on the eval because of a few points, right? And I'm not going to enter right here off open either because that's FOMO and it would very easily respect that 50-minute gap. But after getting another really bullish candle all the way up here, no crazy rejection wicks or anything, right? ES still hasn't swept all-time highs, right? I enter right here when there's about 20 seconds left. Price is going to go higher. Again, it's just market experience, bro. Price is going to go higher, okay? So put my stop loss right there, safe stop loss, and went break even on this candle right here. Just target all-time highs. And that's it, right? Super, super simple. Now, if we retrace into that fair value gap, right? Maybe around like any time like past 933, right? If we retrace in that fair value gap and we got a good confirmation, a good like bullish close out of it, that would be an XFA trade. That would be a very, very solid A+ setup. Obviously, you would have to see how it prints, but like the majority of the time, if we're gonna get a retrace into that gap, market conditions are good, and we have an A+ drawn liquidity. That's a super solid long. So now it is time for the patience to kick in, right? I've been super, super patient for over a year and a half, waiting for A+ setups every single trade for an eval. And I've wondered why it's taken me literally like months to pass another eval. And it's literally because of that. I I just need to trust my discretion, trust my market experience over a year and a half of trading when it comes to evals, right? And just pass these things. So yeah, it's really as simple as that. Because when I get to the exit phase, that is when the patience needs to come in. That is when God is going to help me out the absolute most with my patience, right? And the funny thing is that I can use all these tips and tricks. I used to say, oh well, if you run a mile every single time, you don't follow your rules. If you punish yourself and run 3 miles, I still do that, right? Last time I took a FOMO trade, I think was like 3 weeks ago. No, it was like over a month ago. And what did I do? I ran 3 miles that day, right? I posted on my story so all of y'all see, right? But like typically I don't FOMO like that. I've taken like 2 FOMO trades and probably over the past like 4 months, right? 4 months, 4 or 5 months, and that's pretty good. That's like the only thing I've ever struggled with. It's not these little hacks. Oh, you go for a run, punish yourself. I figured out, bro, over time that the more that I pray to God, the more that I strengthen my relationship with Him, and the more that I pray before market open, the more calmness, I guess you would say, the more calm I am throughout the entire session, the least I want to FOMO into a bad trade when I know that, oh, I should be waiting for A plus here. And this is when all the patience is going to be needed, right? It's going to be needed on these XFAs. I'm going to take 2 to 3 really, really nice setups, and then the rest of them are going to be $200 winning days. I just need to be patient. I need to continue to ask God for patience. That is the hack. That is the hack, right? It's literally God, bro. God is the answer to everything. And I can really drop everything right now. I could say I'm not going to go for a 3 mile run if I FOMO into a trade. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't FOMO, right? Because I have God. The moment after I think 3 months of not FOMOing into any trades, right? Last time I FOMOed into a trade was like March, and I went through like a really bad period where I FOMOed for like an entire week and I blew all my XFAs. Ever since then, I started praying to God every single before every single session. And what happened, right? What happened was that one day I forgot to pray because I have an alarm on my phone. I forgot to pray before market open. And that one day, after months of not FOMOing, after months of praying every single morning before market open, guess what happened? I FOMOed. You cannot tell me that is, oh, that's just luck. That's just a coincidence. No, it is not. God is the answer. And every single time I ask God for patience in the market, He delivers. If I am here and I'm trying my best to be patient, right, and I'm not, oh, what trade should I get in? I'm doing my part and I'm trying to be patient. God will gift you that patience to finish it off, right? To be able to go through 2 days, 3 days, like I've been doing the past couple weeks, where I would go 2 to 3 entire days of no trades. God gives you that patience. It is not these tips and tricks. There's no secret. God is the answer to everything. So pray to Him before market open. I promise you, He will help a lot. He will help a lot, and trust in Him in this journey, and He will guide you. So I'm about to meet up with one of my boys. He's been trading for like over a year and a half now. He's just now getting into ICT, but he goes to like my church and everything. So about to meet up with him and hit the gym for a little bit, and yeah, just enjoy the rest of the day. I took a nice break this weekend. I haven't taken a break since December. I went on like a monk mode, so I didn't have like any social media, no nothing, no posting for over a month. It was 1 month of monk mode. Now it's in December. I have not taken a break off social media and posting for over 6 months now. This weekend, after 75 hard finished on Friday, I took a 2-day break and literally just chilled. Spent a lot of time with God, spent a lot of time with family, and just chilled. And that's just something that you need every now and then. Y'all guys need. So getting back after it now. I got to post 4 shorts today and do a bunch of work. So today's going to be a very productive day. Let's get to it.
be. We never hate on folks, yeah. They just like catching their bodies, jumping on them like Tyrion Stokes. I'ma keep running the spirit, I really won't stop till I can't no more, yeah. Shout out Cruz for this, taking out demons like 5 in a row. I wonder what life would be. It's been all of the pride for me. I ain't never gonna judge my brother, cause it's gonna be planking the eye for me. I know I'm gonna live my life from the main one, looking who died for me. Yeah, we taking them ties from me. Yeah. Like what else you wonder?
Alright, so we ended up losing that trade as y'all saw. Only risk 720. Again, just like 1K away from passing the account. So I didn't take out my XFA. That's obvious. But only thing wrong about the trade that I was that we already hit 3 of our main goals. Right, so we hit this low, and this low. I was looking for all-time highs going today, but how we reacted off these hourly gaps, I wanted to see this low, and this low. And what happened, right? We ran through every single one. Yes, right. At this point, this trade was cooked because we sell side right here. We swept one of these hourly lows right there. And this is just not enough confirmation that we're going to continue lower. So even though this gap tap was valid, we just swept a major low. So was waiting for right here for this retracement. We didn't get it, right? Continue to run lower. And this was the next target, this hourly low all the way down here after these main 3, right? So it's completely fine. Going into the trade, something I've learned again with these types of setups is when we already like took a lot of draws, most of the time I'm not going to even take anything on XFA. Like it's not going to be A+ if we already took like the main draws. But we tapped into this gap. We're ripping lower like crazy past that third draw on liquidity, right? And typically on a setup like this, if this is truly going to play out, what we're going to do is we're just going to enter right here, and it's going to continue ripping lower. But what do? We swept this low, and we just kind of continue to chop around. This is exactly what you do not want to see. And I had the same exact thought process. I was like, bro, if we don't get like an expansion lower, like somewhere within here, right, like a continuation after this candle, I'm going break even. What we didn't do that. And when we pushed right here, I was like, okay, this is complete chop. I want to go break even. Price obviously continued to rush higher, so I wasn't able to go break even. So it is completely fine. It's part of it. Again, like, yes, I've been trading. I mean, I've taken a trade every day since Friday, I think. So for the past 3 days, 3 trading days, I've taken a trade. But again, I'm just learning how to trade these evals. In the past 3 days, price action has not been chop. It's actually been good, other than Friday. So I messed up there, but y'all know how I learned from that. But it's fine. I wouldn't even constitute today's trade as FOMO simply because, like, it actually was a decent trade. Like, it actually was a good trade. Reaction off the gap was beautiful. Everything was really nice. It was a decent trade. And only thing wrong with it was how I managed it, right? That's the only thing wrong with it. That and how we were overextended. When we're overextended like that, simply you want to see a quick continuation lower. If you don't get that and you start to kind of see some wicking around, going slow, slowing down, you want to get out of that position. That's what I've learned today, and it's fine. It's fine. So we still are up 1,200 on the account. So we pretty much have one full winning trade left to pass the account. But yeah, there was no A+ setups today for the XFA, so that's fine. But yeah, so on to the next day, I guess. All right, so I just finished making a few reels, made like 4 reels. It took about an hour. I was sitting out there for about an hour. I still need to make 1 more when I get back. So yeah, like right now I'm really about to go and get my eyeballs.
What else you wonder?
What
else you wonder?
So,
What else you wonder?
yeah.
What else you wonder? What else you wonder? I wonder what life would be. We never hate on folks, yeah. It's like catching their bodies, jumping on them like Tyrion Stokes. I'ma keep running the spirit up, but it won't stop till I can't.
Actually a banger, bro. Actually a banger, bro. Y'all know like the TikTok edits, bro. They got like the max bass boosted version. It's so good, but like this is just like the straight up like OG version. But we're reviewing pretty much a trade that I took today, and I want to show y'all the new layout for the journal. Okay, so let me pull this up real quick before I go over the trade today that I missed. So okay. So typically, well, at least like the way that I've been doing it recently is every single time that I see this model like show up, if I trade it or I do not trade it, I journal it. Okay, that's for statistical purposes to see at the end of every single month, how many times the model plays out. It doesn't matter if I caught it or not or what. Right, this was last month, and this is like pretty much the first full month of me trading this model. Oh, actually, no, it's that. Okay. So, yeah, y'all could see like all of the missed A+ setups from like when I first started trading this model, simply but just because I needed to learn. But you could see right here, I was still kind of going through this phase at the beginning of this month, but you could pretty much see every single time the model played out, right? And looking at it now on how I trade my evals, right? I trade them differently, right? The way that I trade my evals, it is not my model, right? Yes, it is aligned with my model. It is a continuation model, right? That has a strong draw on liquidity and, a good safe stop, right? In good conditions. It's that simple. But with my model, if it's an A+ setup, right? We get a good tap into a good gap. All those things that apply for good eval trade, right? Strong draw on liquidity, good conditions, and, safe stop. But it's with a gap tap and a retrace and a good confirmation, right? And not sweeping the internal high, all that stuff, but like a good confirmation out of it and a solid entry. That's what A+ model is. So it's really not that much different, but at the same time, I don't want to be recording it. And you could see right here, and today would be another example. It would be one of those days. I would record my loss that I took on the eval, but also fill out the A+ setup that ended up playing out, kind of like this, and it just makes it look really ugly, and you can't look at it from like the perspective, okay, like just me looking at it right now, without having to like do a bunch of math and everything and going through each and every single one of these with all these different filters and understanding, okay, like how many times has the model played out recently? Is the model still working pretty well, right? Do I need to switch anything up with the model, right? Because the eval trades, again, it is not my model. It does not have to do anything with my statistics, just pure discretion and just pure market experience with continuations. That's it. So going forth, I'm going to get rid of this journal. Actually, I'm going to copy it just because like OG purposes, look back, a year or so from now, and just look at all the fried trades I started taking when I first, got my mentor. But yeah, we're pretty much going to clear out this and get rid of all of the eval setups and simply just have the A+ setups in there, whether I took it or whether I didn't, right? And just show the A+ setups and the losses themselves, right? Just the plain losses, like the bad setup that you can see right here, just the bad setups. I'll show the A+ model and the bad setups, and not the eval type setups. And hopefully that'll clear it up a lot more, and hopefully that'll help me understand, okay, like where am I at right now currently with this model, actually trading it when I'm trading on the XFA. And I put this down here pretty much to have an area where I can fill out some reasoning for, why I ended up losing a trade, or, a recent lesson that I learned from trading an eval that can just improve my trading in general. So for today, right, instead of, logging an entire trade that I really don't need to, I'm just going to say, okay, when we are overextended, if we set up a really nice clean setup and it doesn't immediately continue ripping, then go out BE, right? Very, very simple. Don't trade the first 1 to 2 minutes off market open unless if it is A++, right? That's Friday, right? Friday's break even. Simple stuff like that. So that's how I'm structuring the new journal. So yeah, hopefully it's a lot cleaner. All right, so now going into the trade that I ended up missing today, right? So, I had the same exact outlook as, my mentor, right? We were looking for all-time highs. And as I said earlier, we were kind of sandwiched in between those two gaps. But this was the setup that my mentor ended up making 5K on across all of his XFAs, right? So we have, again, these hourly gaps. And this is the main reason why I was like, I don't know about this, okay? We're respecting this gap, and for all-time highs, I want to see us inverse this, right? Continue running higher, target all-time highs, right? And what happened, we just immediately dumped off open, and I started switching bias. I was like, okay, I'm probably just going to look for shorts, but I'm not going to take anything. I want to see like extra confirmation, and then take shorts to like this next hourly low or like this next hourly low. Obviously, we never got that, but in the grand scheme of things, like even though we were in this 1 hour gap, how I've learned how to trade it recently is that if we're ripping through a high time frame gap with a lot of displacement, a lot of good closure, typically we're going to inverse it. Like you don't need to wait for the full hour. So that's just something I've kind of learned a little bit over time. But that is something that, my mentor ended up using discretionally today. Is like, bro, we diddy candled off open a lot lower, and we're just ripping through this hourly gap. Like we're completely ignoring it. And once we tap into this gap, we got a really, really nice retrace, as you can see. Perfect retrace. What do we get? A super nice closure. I wanted to take this trade, but I was scared that for some reason, if it lost, I would just get absolutely like cooked mentally. So like, oh, I FOMO'd in that trade, but I knew that we were in those early gaps. It would have been bad. But in reality, I should have taken it. So now just got to journal the trade and move on to tomorrow. It's that simple, guys. I still got one more trade I got to take to pass this eval, and like one $1,500 day, and then I'll have a $200 day. So like that'll be a really simple day to pass this account. But hopefully, after missing a trade like today, we can possibly get maybe one A+ setup to finish off the week. But really not expecting a whole lot for the rest of the week other than that. So yeah. Alright, yo, what's good, boys? It is the next day. Right now it is Wednesday. Yeah, so it's Wednesday. We have news at 10 a.m. It's low impact or medium impact news, so it's not really a big deal. But market opens about in an hour or so. So last night I was reading a bit of the Word, and I just wanted to come on here a little bit and talk about it. So that verse was Proverbs 25:28, right? And that says, "He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls." Right? And I wrote some notes last night. I left it upstairs. But if I remember it correctly, right? He hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down. Right? If you fall into temptation, right? If you fall into sin, right? It is our human nature, right? It happens, right? We're not perfect, but we should be striving to be perfect. We should be striving to be more like Jesus Christ and to follow the ways in which he acted, in which he lived his life, fleeing from sin. And people say all the time, oh, what's our human desire? It's we're human, it happens, we're supposed to. No, we're not, right? You can quit things, right? Obviously, you're going to make a mistake every now and then, but there are things right now that you can completely rid of in your life, right? So when I struggle, when I fail, when I fall into temptation, all this different type of stuff, it feels like my soul has been torn down, right? And when that happens, again, like it says, my walls are torn down, my city is broken, right? What does that mean? It's exposed. This is the way that I'm understanding it, right? Your city is exposed. The heart of your city is exposed, right? Your spirit, your Holy Spirit is exposed to the damage from Satan, right? It's exposed to evil, right? When you decide to, sin this way or that way or whatever, and you start to give into it, right? You're exposing yourself to Satan, right? You've been doing good for a while, and you're on the right track. You're all there spiritually, right? Everything feels great in your life, and you just decide to, all of a sudden, mess up and throw it all off. And that happens, bro. It happens. And it's happened to me recently. And it feels like those few days after that my city is exposed, that my heart is exposed now, and it is broken down for the devil to tempt me even more, for the devil to lead me into his ways even more. And that is the way that I understand this, right? And that exact verse, 25:18, is that, or was it 18? 25:28, right? It's that, if we're continuously falling into sin every single day, right, every single week, we're constantly opening ourselves up to falling into it more and more and more, and to allow it to become more of an addiction, more of a an escape instead of escaping to God, right? So that's just a little bit of scripture I wanted to read to y'all boys this morning. Always try to spread the word a little bit every single day. So yeah, like that was a pretty good one last night. I sat there. I don't know, bro. I come out here at night every single night for about an hour, and not typically for an hour. I come out here an hour before I go to bed, which is 9 o'clock. So I come out here around 8 o'clock, and I read for about 30 minutes. I'll have my book, and then I'll have my Bible, and I'll read a little bit, and then I'll just like sit back and just watch the sunset a little bit. It's not much of a sunset, but you know, it's good enough. And you know, I'll just sit there and think, and I'll pray. And you know, that quiet time is very, very important to me, and it's very, very important for all of us. And we should all prioritize some quiet time in our lives, right? Some prayer time. You know, for me, it's every single morning before I start everything. You know, get into my work day and all that. Spend time with God first thing in the morning, as well as towards the end of my day when I'm pretty much planning on going to bed. It's my quiet time as well. So yeah, that's just a little bit of scripture this morning. But yeah, guys, one thing I did want to point out, right, as I'm talking about this, is that we should all be reading the Word, right? And I understand, you know, it's for some of y'all it's tough. You know, y'all are already reading the Word, but you know, every now and then you'll get off of it. You know, you'll read it for a week or two, and then you know you'll forget about it, stuff like that. But if y'all are already trying to get into the Word, and you're falling away from it, like you'll do it again for like a week or so, and then you'll quit, you'll just forget about it. Do y'all realize how you feel in those times? Because I've heard it from pretty much everyone that's talked about how they, you know, they get on and off the Bible, right, and His Word. They feel terrible. They feel like they're not in the present with God, right? That God is missing during those times of them forgetting about God, them not praying as much, them not reading the Word as much and learning. Do y'all feel that? I'm just pointing that out to make sure that some of y'all understand like why that's happening, if y'all are going through that period. Or even like you don't even read the Bible in general and you feel like you're not making any growth with God, right? You know, you just pray and that's it. Like, the Word is here for us to learn the ways of God. And I promise you, bro, picking up the Bible and actually sitting down and reading and learning and taking some notes a little bit as well, it has completely changed my life, bro. I used to pray all the time, you know, and that was when I was in the beginning stages of my journey with Christ through last year. And then the beginning of this year is when I really started to like make it a habit, a routine to every single day wake up and read the Bible, wake up and read the Bible every single day. And that is when I began to live my life differently. When I used to pray to God and all that, I had a connection with God, but it is different than now. I had a connection with Him, but I wasn't living the way that I should have been. You see what I'm saying? Right? You know, I would be easy to anger, right? I would be very, very easy to anger. I would constantly be stressing out, right? I would be very, very vulgar with what I said, right? I didn't care what I said, right? And I was also prioritizing money over God, prioritizing the progress of my trading more than God. And the moment that I began to read the Bible, all these things have left me, right? I'm not easy to anger anymore, right? It's way, way harder for me to fall into lust, right? It is way, way harder for someone to aggravate me, right? And to entice me, right? It is, you know, just 10 times easier to not give into these things that I once fell into, right? I'm prioritizing God more than ever now. And, you know, all came through reading the Word. So, you know, talking to my parents, not to throw them under the bus, but talking to my parents this weekend, we had one of the, I don't even know what you call it, like the readings, I guess you would say, at church. And my pastor, or the priest was pretty much talking about how a lot of us need to pick up the Word, right? We need to pick up the Word, and I called them out right after the Mass, and in the car, and I was like, y'all, I know y'all don't read the Word, why not? And they went on to say, well, Bryson, you know, and they did what was right? They said, you know, it should be on the forefront of our prioritization in our lives. And it still isn't, right? We still struggle, and, you know, I can definitely make time, but I'm very, very busy. No, right? But at the same time, they were saying, you know what, Bryson, you're right. I can prioritize this in my life. I can make time, because I do see my dad. You know, not recently because he's been working like a lot, but typically, like other than like this past month, he scrolls on Twitter. I at least see him like 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day on Twitter. He can change that. He can change that time right there. Spend 15 minutes with God and reading the Word and trying to learn, right? Because yes, he does pray. It's the same situation as me. Yes, he does pray. Right? He has that spiritual life with God, but does he read and does he learn from the Word? No. Same thing with my mom. She said the same thing. You know, I see her on her phone a decent amount as well at night. You know, when she wants to chill out, and I understand that, right? You want to chill out, but I also want to chill out as well, and I get, you know, my time in every single day. I work hard, and then I enjoy the rest of my day, you know, a few hours, but I also read the Word, right? I prioritize probably about 45 minutes out of my day to read the Word. And that's just something that, you know, same thing with business, guys. If y'all are making the excuse of, oh, well, I don't have the time, I work 2 jobs right now, you know, like, dude, I'm not saying, bro, that, like, that I have a different situation, or that I'm in the same situation as y'all. I understand that. Y'all gotta understand, you can make time. You can make time, right? And some of y'all are in a terrible situation, but you can still make time. We all have 24 hours in a day. Okay, so, I mean, I used to, like, when I used to clock in, like, 8 hours a day, trading, in the beginning of this journey, I would work so hard every single day, trading, like, any free time I had. No games, again, this was, like, when I was full red pill. No games, no YouTube, no nothing. For literally a year straight, okay? I spent all of my free time on trading, and that was about probably 6 to 7, 8 hours a day, right? Average was like 8 hours a day, bro. And I would wake up at 4:30, right? I would wake up super early just so I can study the markets before I went to school. I went to school, right? I had 3 classes, 3 in-person classes, and then this is each semester, 3 in-person classes, and then 3 or 4 online college classes. And then what did I do after work or after school? I went home and I studied more. I went to the charts, studied more, right? And what did I do during school? In school, I traded. I was learning. I was studying. I was, you know, doing my documentation and doing my journaling on Notion, right? And then what did I do right after school? I went home and I studied even more. I studied the charts even more. And then what did I do after that? I went and worked at a car wash, or I went and worked at a grocery store. And grocery store, but that was cooked. I worked way more over there than I did at Autobell. But Autobell, the car wash, I would work, you know, 4 or 5 hours. It's not a lot, but, you know, until about typically like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5-ish. And then what did I do after that? Came home, ate dinner for about 30 minutes, spent, you know, a little bit of time with family, just eating with them. What did I do after that? I studied on the charts. I hopped on the charts, did my review for the day, and then went to bed at 8:30, woke up the next day at 4:30. Every single day. And I made time. I made time for not only spending time with God, but also reading a bit of His Word. Right, and that was like, again, when I was like slowly trying to get incorporated with God, like halfway through last year, like towards the end of last year's high school or college semester. Right? No, this is, bro, I've been training for 2 years. Holy, this was the last year that I was in high school. I wasn't even reading the Word then. I wasn't even reading the Word. I was just praying. I wasn't even reading the Word then. But that's just like to show that you can make time. If you care about something enough, which was for me at the time, trading, you can make time. I was so exhausted every single day after taking 7 classes, right, online and in person, and then going to work at a car wash every single day in hot weather, and then coming home and still working. Then the next day, waking up at 4:30. I didn't care if I was on 4 hours, 3 hours of sleep. I did it anyways. So it's up to you, bro. It's up to you if you want to continue to grow in the Word and continue to grow with your relationship with Christ. It is up to you, right? There's nothing stopping you. It's your choice. So, about to hop on the charts. What a beautiful day so far. We literally just finished up drinking a couple glasses of water, making sure I'm up with my water, drinking about, a gallon a day, a little bit over a gallon, making sure I'm getting my water intake in, as well as just, I don't know, bro, just enjoying some time outside. Been working on my phone for the past hour. Telling y'all, bro, you can literally change your life with faith in God, obviously first, and then your phone. That's literally all you need to completely change your life. There is no excuses. We all have, our cards dealt to each and every single one of us, which can obviously, differentiate all of us, right? And make it harder for some people and easier for some people, right? And for me, it's been hard, but at the same time, bro, like, I'm living in my parents' house, right? As long as I'm going to college, they're letting me live with them. So I have one more year left to make this all work out, essentially. But I've saved up all the money. I've invested all the money into trading. I was the one that worked 10, 12-hour days. My parents weren't the ones that made me do that. I was the one that decided to do that. I was the one that people were always saying, Bryson, just go to college. Just go to college. Bryson, just live that, comfortable life. All that stuff. I had the choice to do that. And I could have easily, gotten tempted by that. But I wanted more for myself, and I wanted to actually change people's lives, and I wanted to actually do something with my life, and not just live a boring, mundane life. So, what did I do? I actually took advantage, and I didn't make any excuses saying, oh, well, I'm going to college. My parents are paying for college, so, I might as well just live, I might as well just get my degree and then just work a job. I could have easily said that, right? I could have easily said that versus someone that is actually in the trenches and they need to make something happen. They don't have any money. They need to make something happen. I worked almost every single day, other than my other than my grocery store job, pretty much. I pretty much worked every single day for like over 2 years. And it sucked. And I stacked that on top of pretty much 7 classes, 3 in person, 4 online, every single semester, as well as studying 8 hours a day during the school year. 8 hours a day, every single day. I didn't make any excuses, bro. I didn't make any excuses. So just finished up. That's like a little yap, but holy, just finished up posting about 4 reels, responding to a bunch of DMs, posted a lot of stories as well on my Instagram. And yeah, so like right now I'm about to head upstairs, about to get some more water, obviously. Going to head upstairs and then work on the YouTube video for a little bit. So I got like a whiteboard video. Y'all saw that. I'm about to cook up on that. So I'll see y'all in the room. All right, so we've been sitting doing some work for about another hour. It's around 3 o'clock right now. Just finished up filming the video. Let's do a real quick recap of the trade that I ended up taking. But we cooked up a fire video today. Worked on this for a while, edited it up, and then made a sick thumbnail, bro. You can't tell me I cooked up with this thumbnail. So just focusing more on quality content, quality everything in my life right now. Waking up a little bit later, 5:55, and literally just going to bed earlier as well, so I can get like better sleep instead of focusing on 4:30 wake up, all this stuff. Actually locking in with quality in my life now. So yeah, getting some quality work done for the past 2 hours. Quality, not quantity. Quality work, actually sitting down and working, not getting distracted, and not working 8 hours of just useless garbage. Actually working on things that are pushing the needle forward. So really, really cool thumbnail, really good thumbnail. Spent some good time on that. So uploading the video right now. That'll obviously be out by the time this video is out. So if y'all haven't watched that, go and watch that. Pretty much teaches you how to take losses correctly and how to take them incorrectly, which is leading y'all to consistently taking losses over and over and over again. So to recap the trade today, right? So I took a trade today, made $1,300 on the eval. So pretty much I have one more trade. You can see right here, I have pretty much $400 left to pass the account. And this is the second account that I've been pretty much waiting to take or to pass so that I can just trade both XFAs and just copy trade them. So today, mentor ended up taking this on XFAs. He went in light risk because he didn't believe it was A+ at all. And that is exactly why I did not take this on my XFA. So I'm glad I had the patience to not take this on my XFA, but instead have the confidence that, okay, most likely this is going to play out on an eval. This isn't A+. Only thing that made this trade not A+ was simply because we had this value gap right here, retraced, was simply because of how slow price began to move. Okay, typically we're going to tap into a fair value gap like that. we got like an actual strong retrace. I want to see like this right here, these 3 candles. I want to see like one huge diddy candle down, like candles like this. That would have been so A+. If we tapped into this gap right here and we got like one of these type candles immediately, dude, amazing trade for an XFA. But with us getting this closed, this is like, bro, this is like most likely we are going to go lower, right? Most likely this is going to play out. But again, I need to see the best of best setups for my XFA. So with this trade kind of slowing down, volatility kind of dying off once we retrace to this gap, I didn't like it enough to take on an XFA, but it was like a solid, for me, it was like a solid A setup. Like everything was perfect, but how slow price action started to move. So enter right here on my evals, made $1,300, scaled down slowly, sold 20 contracts right here, and then as we started to push lower, sold at 10 more contracts, sold off 30 at the bottom. So that was a trade. So that's pretty much the trade for the day. I called out all-time highs. I wanted to see all-time highs going into the day, but I sent out to the Discord, if we continue to display slower, which we did right off of open, like 3 minutes after open, we were still dumping lower. I was like, I'm still going to look, I'm going to switch my bias to looking for what levels? So yeah, 23170, which ended up hitting. So beautiful day today. So we have pretty much both accounts passed now. To be honest, tonight I might just trade Asia. Literally just hop into a trade and try to go break even quickly and just rock out a 400 point trade, or not 400 point trade, a $400 trade, so that I can, you know, pay for the activation fee tonight, so that tomorrow I can start trading it. So yeah, I don't know. It depends how we open up Asia, if it's free or not. Most of the time it's really not, but we'll see. But if not, then we'll just be patient tomorrow and just hop into a trade. To be honest, I just need to pass this. Like, as long as I can just get some of like an actual trade that makes sense, like I should be chilling. So yeah, after this, I got to post a few more stories. I got to post 20 stories today, so I'm post 5 more stories today. And you can see right here, post 5 more stories today. I'm at 15 right now. And make sure this video gets uploaded. And then right now, it's 3 p.m. I've gone pretty much everything done I've needed to. That's literally everything. Once I do that, I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day. I'm about to play Terraria, bro. My Terraria world is top tier. Let y'all know about Terraria, bro. I've been playing that game so much recently, bro. So much. Any free time I have after I finish my work, I'm just grinding, bro. I'm just grinding. Like, y'all need to take a peep. This was like early development stages of the base right here. This was Friday. Building this John in a tree, bro. It's so fire. But yeah, this game is absolutely peak. Absolutely peak. But yeah, guys, y'all need to make sure you're actually enjoying your day, to not, you know, go grind mode 24/7. Lock yourself in a room. I literally did that last summer. I did that for over a year, and dude, you're just making it way more complicated on yourself. Do the work that you need to do. I've literally been working since 5:55 this morning, and right now it's 3 p.m. and I'm pretty much stopping work about now. In the next probably 15 minutes, I'll finish posting the rest of my stories, and I'll be done for the day. Like, I've worked pretty much, like, in collective, because you got to think about, you know, the time I ate and all that stuff. Literally probably like 7 hours today I've been working. So yeah, make sure y'all actually go outside, enjoy your days, go and do something, play some games, bro. Just chillax. But yeah, I'll pick up the camera probably tomorrow. Depends if we get a trade or not, but we shall see. All right, let's go, guys. As I am making this, I'm trying to upload a reel that I'm posting. But while I'm doing this, bro, like, the cover just won't upload, right? You see the cover right there, right? I click done, and it just stays the same, bro, with no title. Go back. You see it right there, right? You got the title? Done. Doesn't do anything. Instagram, bro. Fix your app. Fix your app, gang. Okay, so today, Friday, or no, today's Thursday. Okay, I'm not trading at all tomorrow. I'm done. I can't do this high frequency trading stuff, bro. I can't do it. My brain is fried. With the whole setup and how these evals have went, right, which in the future, obviously, it's going to be different. I didn't know, if y'all watched the prior vlogs about 2 weeks ago, I didn't know that I bought this second account. I had no clue, because I rebuilt it, right? I haven't failed many XFA. I haven't failed many evals simply because in the beginning of my journey, I would literally take like 4 months to pass an account, okay? And it's because I risked so little. So I've only, in my history of trading evals, which has been been about a year since last summer is when I started. I've blown probably 3 accounts, three evals. So even though I've been with these prop firms for a long time, I've had no like really any clue that if you blow your account, if you blow your eval, it will rebuild the next month, right? And a lot of the time I would just reset the account, right? I would just reset the accounts. That's why I never got rebuild surprisingly the next month. I would literally just get, I would just rebuild it myself. But I thought that if you blow your eval, you can just go on, you move on with your life, right? And it won't rebuild you, right? I thought that for you to reset the account, you have to manually do it. I thought that the account just goes away if you don't do anything with it. But apparently, y'all saw what happened about 2 weeks ago. One random morning, hopped on the charts, and I saw that I had 2 accounts because the prior one from the one eval that I have blown, learning this model about, I think it was last month, it rebuilt completely. So figured I had 2 accounts. So, and like the accounts were in completely different states at that time. So, or like I guess you would say capital, right? So one was up and one was down. So it was really weird. I've had to pass this account, which I did, and then I have to pass this next account because again, they're both different, areas in P&L, right? So it's been a lot of trading, right? Completely different than, when I actually start to get payouts, Lord willing, when I start to get payouts, I'll be able to just hop on a fresh set of 5, meaning to hop on a fresh set of 5, right? Not accidentally doing it and then the count, capital being different, right? The same exact, right? P&L, all from starting from 0. I'll have 5 sets, right? I'll have 1 set of 5, and I'll be able to just take 2 full port trades that are good and just pass the account, pass all the accounts. Instead of trading them at the same time, but one's up and one's down, and having to like trade, okay, I passed this one account this day, this one's at, $1,000 left, I've passed this one next, and it just goes everywhere. So with that being said, I've been trading all week because of it. I've literally traded every single day this week, and it has fried my brain. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. I feel like if I continue doing this, it's just going to make me like feel like I need to get into a trade every single day, and I obviously don't want to do that, right? And obviously when I hop on my XFAs, I'm not going to feel that way because I'm very, very disciplined, and the way that I wait for my trades, and y'all have seen me even with my evals before what my mentor told me last week to start being more lenient instead of being so stringent with the evals, that I am extremely disciplined. I would go days and days and days without taking a trade, right? Simply because nothing was A+. So I know the Lord will provide me the strength to not FOMO, to not take trades like I did today, which I'm going to show you in a second, or anything like that on the XFAs. I'm simply just learning the boundaries of how to take an eval trade, and it's just frying my brain in the process. We're not taking anything tomorrow. We're not even going to look at the charts tomorrow. So most likely the video is going to end here, but I'm going to go over pretty much the trade that I took. So you can see right here that took this, looking for all-time highs going into the day, right? What made the setup, what would have made it really, really nice is if we respected this 5-minute gap off open, right? We inverse this 15-minute gap to the left already. We have engineer liquidity at all-time highs, okay? And we got this insane 5-minute closure, which is like, bro, like most likely we're going to go to all-time highs. But going into this trade, I knew it was already sketchy. Like, look at how price is printing. It already looks like a seek and destroy day, like we're going down, then we're going up. It's really sketch, okay? So I only lost 500, so I'm really still 1 trade away from passing the account, which is what I intended. So entered in this area right here, and they just got stopped. So it's completely fine, right? It's completely fine. It's part of learning how to trade these evals, bro. And today I was just being a goober. Like, nothing made sense with the trade. I simply was like, all right, let me just catch this quick scalp. I only need $500 to pass the account. I don't need to fit the criteria of an eval trade to pass the account. Let me just take this. And that's what happens, right? And it'll get to a point where, I'll be like my mentor and I'll have money to spend, where I'll be like, okay, I need to pass this account within 2 days, these sets of accounts. I'm just going to full port right when we get close to drawn liquidity and price action's decent, and there you go. I'll get to that point, but right now, obviously it's not, and there is specifications for those types of setups, but it's completely fine. I'm going to move on. Again, still we have one more account, or one more trade left to pass this account. Once I'm able to pass this account, I'll finally be able to lock in with good psychology and really good patience, and just stay patient for the A+ setups, maybe taking 1 or 2 setups a week. So hopefully, Lord willing, we'll be able to pass the account next week. Not looking for goober trades like today that are really free and 100% discretional. Today was like 100% discretional, and I knew that going into the trade, it was most likely, like it was just cooked. But yeah, just let me know like what more y'all want to see in these videos, because I don't want to fill it with yap and all that stuff that I'm used to. If y'all don't really want to see that and y'all want to see me trade more, y'all want to see me, go out and do some things more, just recommend some things if y'all want to, just to make these videos better and more enjoyable for y'all boys, and more insightful as well for, the little trade recaps and stuff. So other than that, I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.